So today, we're going to break down a really critical vulnerability that hit right at the heart of a lot of enterprise security setups, Trend Micro's Apex Central. But, this isn't just about a technical flaw. It's actually a pretty fascinating look at the coordinated dance between ethical hackers and software vendors, a process that happens behind the scenes to keep all of us safe. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, we'll cover the urgent alert itself, what went wrong and why it's such a big deal. Then we'll dissect the vulnerability to really understand the attack. After that, we'll get into the story of its responsible disclosure, which is super interesting. We'll also give you some concrete steps for hardening your defenses. And finally, we'll zoom out to look at the bigger picture. Why our security tools are now a prime target for attackers. Okay, let's dive right in with the immediate threat. The first thing you have to understand is just the sheer urgency here. I mean, when the very tool that's supposed to be your shield becomes the attacker's sword, everybody needs to sit up and pay attention, like right now. Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, this vulnerability scores a 9.8. In the cybersecurity world, that is a 5-alarm fire. A score this high means a flaw is not just bad, it's easy to exploit, it doesn't require anyone to click anything, and the impact is absolutely devastating. So let's translate this from security speak, because it's actually pretty simple and, well, terrifying. Unauthenticated means the attacker doesn't need a password. They just walk right in. Remote means they can do it from anywhere on the planet. And executing code as system, that's the ballgame. It gives them the highest level of control, basically complete ownership of your central security server.
So, which systems are we talking about here? This vulnerability specifically hits the on-premise version of Trend Micro's Epic Central. If you are running any version below build 7190, your system is wide open and you need to take action immediately.
And the solution? Well, it's crystal clear. Your number one priority has to be applying the patch from Trend Micro. Upgrading to critical patch build 7190 or a newer version is the single most important thing you can do to slam this dangerous door shut. Okay, now that we know what happened, let's get into the how. When you really dig into the mechanics of this flaw, you start to see just how clever the attack is, and it explains why the response from security teams had to be so fast. So this patch actually took care of 3 different vulnerabilities. Now, the 2 denial-of-service flaws are serious for sure. They could crash your security management. But the real headline grabber is that first one, CVE-2025-69258. That's the critical remote code execution flaw. That's the one that gives an attacker the keys to the kingdom. Remote code execution, or RCE, is basically the holy grail for attackers. This isn't just about crashing a system or stealing one password. We're talking about the power to run their own software on your server. It effectively turns your machine into their machine. So how does this attack actually play out? It's a surprisingly direct path to a total compromise. An attacker sends a specially crafted message to a specific process that's listening on the network. Now, because of a tiny flaw in how a core Windows function is used, the system gets tricked into loading a malicious library file, a DLL, that the attacker controls. And since that process is already running with the highest system rights, well, the attacker's code runs with those same rights. And just like that, it's game over. And this is where the story gets really interesting. This vulnerability wasn't found by bad guys out in the wild. It was found by professional security researchers. And what they did next is just a masterclass in how coordinated defense is supposed to work. Just look at this timeline. It tells you everything. Researchers at Tenable found this thing way back in August of 2025. But they didn't just tweet about it. No, they went directly and privately to Trend Micro. So for months, these 2 teams worked together behind the scenes. The vendor built a patch, and the researchers made sure the fix actually worked. It was only after the patch was out for everyone that the full technical details were published. And this public thank you from the vendor, this is what a healthy security ecosystem looks like. This isn't some adversarial relationship. It's a collaboration, where finding a flaw is seen as a vital contribution, not as an attack. This whole process, it has a name, Coordinated Vulnerability Disclosure, or CVD. It's an ethical framework designed specifically to get these dangerous flaws fixed without tipping off the bad guys. The entire goal is to give the defenders, the good guys, a critical head start, making sure a patch is ready and waiting before the blueprint for an attack gets out into the world. So the patch is out, the immediate fire can be put out. But the story doesn't stop there, not by a long shot. Real security isn't about just one-time fixes. It's about building resilient, layered defenses for the long haul. Patching is absolutely critical, but it's just step one in a good defense and death strategy. Next, you have to restrict access. Ask yourself, is your management console just hanging out on the open internet? It really shouldn't be. Use firewalls, lock it down. Third, harden the operating system itself to prevent these kinds of untrusted DLLs from loading in the first place. And finally, you have to be watching your logs. A layered defense means that even if one control fails, you've got others in place to stop an attack cold.
And this is why time is absolutely of the essence. With the release of all those technical details, proof of concept exploit code is now out in the wild. And what that means is that even less skilled attackers can now try to weaponize this flaw. The window to get patched before exploitation becomes widespread, it just got a whole lot smaller.
Okay, let's zoom out for what might be the most important lesson from this whole event. This wasn't just any old server that was vulnerable. It was a security management server. And that, well, that changes the entire game. Just think about the blast radius here. Hacking one employee's laptop? That's a problem. But hacking the console that controls the security for 10,000 laptops? That's a full-blown catastrophe. From that one single point, an attacker can disable all your defenses, push out ransomware, and basically become the administrator of your entire network. And this is no secret to attackers. Security tools have become the perfect target. Why? Well, they run with the highest privileges, they're trusted by default, and they have network access to pretty much every machine. Compromising them is the ultimate force multiplier. The fact that CISA's own catalog of actively exploited vulnerabilities already lists 10 flaws for the single product line, that proves this isn't a new idea. It's an established attacker playbook. So we're left with this really critical question. We spend so much time, effort, and money deploying security tools to watch over our networks. But are we giving that same level of scrutiny to the tools themselves? This whole incident is a stark reminder that in modern cybersecurity, you absolutely must secure your security, because the very systems designed to protect you have become the ultimate prize.